Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to this reading. We are going to be taking a look at the energies and predictions for the sign of Sagittarius for the week of November 10th. Now, do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and feel free to check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. All right, Sagittarius, let's go ahead and get into this reading here for you, where we'll be taking a look at this week of November 10th. The timeline on this reading will be from November 10th to the 16th. Do hope your November has been off to a good start for you, and I hope that it will continue to be even better. Sagittarius, let's go ahead and get all the cards out here, get everything set up and in view, and then we'll get right into it for you. All right. And I think that's looking just about good enough to me. All right, energy on the bottom. You have the Ace of Pentacles. So, Sagittarius, the Ace of Pentacles is definitely a nice card. Some of you feel like you're wanting to start something new in this week ahead. You know, this is, aces are usually fresh starts in the tarot. The Ace of Pentacles in particular can be a kind of like the idea of like planting a seed, right, in your life. This can also refer to some formal like paperwork that you may have to do in this week. I know that's a little mundane or boring, but we are looking at this week ahead. It may mean that you see yourself signing off on documents or contracts or something like this here in this week, maybe needing to attend to some like formal, maybe financial related or otherwise documents. This can talk about like making a new investment either in yourself, in your business, or otherwise as well. But generally, this is a good sign in the tarot. But there is a feeling that you want something new here. Just a friendly reminder, we are in the, we are basically in the retrograde now. That starts on the 9th. So during this week that we're looking at, we will have that Mercury retrograde on the 9th, which starts on the 9th. And then we'll also have a Jupiter retrograde as well, which is starting on the 11th. Both, activated here in this weekly reading that we're looking at. And just a friendly reminder, like you can absolutely start things during retrogrades. Never let the astrology scare you, especially if it was seeded before the retrograde, okay? So it's just something I want to throw out there. I'm going to attempt to make this series not about the retrograde because there are other things going on. With that said, you do have a retrograde card here in the Page of Swords, which we'll bring in some other messages here as we go along. But anyway, right away in the middle, you have the Seven of Swords. By the way, you have some nice cards here. Definitely this column looks very good. You do have some challenges ahead, but it's nothing it's not doom and gloom. We'll talk about that more as we go along, but Seven of Swords in the middle here, you guys know that this is probably my least favorite tarot card, but it's here for a reason. And, the Seven of Swords is a card that can indicate deception in life, right? Somebody, performing deception on you or deceiving you in some way. It can mean, you see the person in the card even is deceptive, right? They're stealing swords, okay? They're taking the back door, exit, stealing the swords. Everything that goes along with that, right? So this could feel like a betrayal in life. This could mean something was literally stolen from you. This could be like cheating, lying, cheating, stealing. You've heard that before from other tarot readers as well, which, yes, it can all apply. But, particularly here, the Seven of Swords in a positive light could mean that you're looking to maybe take a risk in life as well, maybe a calculated risk or just a risk. Build a strategy, build a game plan here. And I'm not entirely sure what is going on here with that Seven of Swords because actually, as I think about this, you don't really have, so let me just double check here. You don't have threes, okay? So when I get a Seven of Swords with a 3, usually it means like someone's being deceptive, right? Like somebody is all like, meddling in your situation or, there's somebody else that is maybe toxic, right? Even like if you get the Devil or the Ten of Swords, you don't have those cards. Okay, so here with the Seven of Swords, sometimes this can mean self-sabotage. Okay, sometimes this can mean self-sabotage or self-deception, right? And I think that it's more likely that it's that timeline for you here. Okay. Now, I'm on Team Sagittarius here. I'm on your side. I'm on every sign's side when I do these readings. But, there are times where the guidance says that there's maybe something you're missing, right? And as I look at this, I'm not seeing evidence of other people. In fact, we have two court cards. Okay, we do have two court cards, so those are other people. They can be, or they can be aspects of yourself. So you get an idea of where I'm coming from here, right? Let's try to discover in this reading if this is more about self-sabotage, deception. What is it? So in the first column, you have the Lovers, the Star, and the Ten of Pentacles. All right, so with the Lovers here, this is, I have to say, this is an incredible 3 cards to have, especially in one column. In this type of weekly reading, this column here is the past. Okay, so I look at this as the past, and it's very clear that you've had a beautiful period of time here coming prior to this week ahead. At least something went right, and this could have been in your relationship with the Lovers, or it could have been a choice that you made that was very difficult or very important at the very least that you made, and you have realized that this choice that you've made is now kind of like playing out for you in a good way. And the reason I say that is the Star, it represents wishes coming true or wishes being granted in the tarot. It represents tranquility after something difficult, okay, or an upheaval in life, right? The Star is all about healing. It's about your wishes and your dreams manifesting for you. And one of the better cards to find. Now, this can also be a card of kind of being in the starlight, that's the way I like to look at it sometimes as well. Like, being on social media or having an audience or something like that here can show up with the Star. But I do see that you've made a choice here in the past, and this is either currently paying off, or the cards are suggesting that this was something where you were on the right path with a very important choice, either in your relationship or in another area of life. I'm not entirely convinced that it's relationship, because we did start the reading off here with the Ace of Pentacles. Now, with the Ten of Pentacles here, the Ten of Pentacles, it represents major abundance in the tarot. Okay, it's one of the most abundant cards, and this is usually around your generational money story. Okay, so this is the card, if you're looking for a card that connects to generational wealth, building an empire, leaving a legacy, these sorts of things come up with the Ten of Pentacles, because in a traditional Rider-Waite interpretation, you'll see that there are like grandparents, the children and the grandchildren and the dog. It's the idea of passing what you've earned and made throughout your life down, right? It can also just generally refer to abundance in one's life, but it's a very, very good card. And some of you here, maybe this seed that you've planted, I believe now as I look at that Ace of Pentacles that you're not starting something new in this week. Yeah, I don't believe you're starting something new in this week. I believe that you have already started something, okay? And I think that this seed here could spring in to the Ten of Pentacles energy, right? It may have been hard for you to make this decision actually, but you did it, and you're feeling very, very good with it, with that decision as I look at the Star card, okay? So I believe this is money related, but there's maybe a portion of you here that it's connected to your relationship in some way. In the middle, you do have the Four of Swords, the Seven of Swords, and the Page of Swords. Okay, so with the Four of Swords, this represents rest and recovery, especially with the Star. Any RE word during retrograde is, you're likely to experience something like that, like rest, recover, rejuvenate, rejoice. Like, I don't know if that's really part of retrograde, but it can be. But you get the idea. And it is possible that the cards here are saying, like, take a look at your sleep. Like, are you getting enough sleep? During this period of time, it could be important for you, in this week, if you have the opportunity for that. I think some of you are thinking about that, as the upper row is the row of your thoughts. Like, is there something going on here with, am I staying up too late, or whatever the case may be? I also believe that some of you are in like recovery from something that has happened here in the past. As I look at the star, and what follows the Four of Swords is the Three of Swords, which represents heartbreak. So I do see that some of you are in like a period of recovering from something here. And it may have felt like some of you here, like mentally, with the Seven of Swords, you're trying to piece it all together. Like, you're trying to figure out, like, I get this energy of mentally being a little stunned, but not to the degree of like a tower, right? It's sort of like you're just confused about something. You're a little confused about something. You didn't exactly see something playing out the way you thought it would play out, okay? With the Seven of Swords. Now, there's another timeline here that is coming into mind as I look at these cards, and with the Seven of Swords and the Four of Swords, the star, be careful of like self-sabotage, okay? So in other words, like if you have momentum on something, right? So like if you currently, as you're watching this, like you're doing good work in your job, or you're, let's say you're a business owner or whatever, maybe you're on social media with the star, and you're picking up momentum. The cards are kind of giving a little bit of a warning here where like, don't crush the momentum, okay, by doing nothing, right? Like with the Four of Swords, it's good to do nothing sometimes. Sometimes it is, right? Sometimes we need to rest, we need to recover, we need to do nothing, right? That is good. But there's like a limit to it, right? There's a limit before it's like, okay, I've healed, right? Like I've recovered. So with this here, there's something like that that's coming in. I think maybe some of you will connect to that, right? You do have this Page of Swords. This can represent difficult conversations, especially with the Seven of Swords and the Page of Swords. It can also represent delays as well around something that you're working on. This is why, for me, it's a retrograde card. I definitely want to definitely going to be interested to see what the clarifications are for this reading, because, yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. You have the Queen of Cups, the Eight of Swords, and the Ten of Wands in the final column. Yeah, here's like the mental gymnastics that are going on here with the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Could it be from this Queen of Cups? Maybe. That would be like a water sign, sun, moon, or rising. But it could also just be, it could be anybody. It's somebody who's like maybe a good listener as well in life. Queen of Cups in its detriment, right? Like as a negative aspect of the Queen of Cups, this could be somebody who's like emotionally manipulative. That could sometimes happen with that card. And if that is something that you're dealing with, you're feeling like stuck. Okay, you're feeling a little bit stuck here. There's some mental gymnastics going on with the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords, but I'm not entirely convinced that it is another person. In fact, there may be some mental gymnastics that you are playing within yourself. Okay? And it's not meant to be me coming at you, but that's like the normal threes are not here with the Seven of Swords, right? So we'll definitely clarify that. Finally, you have the Ten of Wands. Some of you here are definitely like wanting to work. Like there's something around hard work here, okay? There's something around, okay, rest period is over, recovery period is over eventually here. And, the Ten of Wands is somebody who's ready to do the hard work. They've crossed the finish line. It can be a card of being exhausted, though. So this is why I'm going to stop reading right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to clarify all of this. We're going to move into the clarifications portion of the reading because I really need more details on this, and we'll get answers to all of those questions. So let's start off here by pulling some oracle cards for you, and then we'll also pull some tarot cards as well. Okay, energy on the bottom, you have take action. Yeah, it's pointing in that direction. It is pointing in that direction, where this is more so like, okay, it's time to go, right? It's time to go. Yeah, I know that's contradictory, but this is why I clarify. So you have meditation brings answers. You have within the next few weeks, as well as big happy changes. Okay, something big on the horizon for you, something really nice. This is like the Sun card. It's the best card to find in this Oracle deck. Absolutely love that card. And then you have remain positive and no. So some of you here putting your foot down. This is the no with the exclamation point. This is the hard no. Okay, there are two no's in this Oracle deck. And yeah, you know, ensuring that we're not dipping into negativity here with the remain positive. Maybe this meditation brings answers is why the Four of Swords is there. That is certainly this person may be also meditating, right? They may not be resting, like in terms of sleeping, they may be meditating. Let's go ahead and let's pull some tarot cards here, and let's see what the tarot clarifications have for us. All right, now this card, I don't normally do this, but that card popped out, so we're going to take this. Sagittarius, do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I do hope things are going well for you. All right, let's see what we have. You know what? Let's take a look at this card. Six of Swords. This card popped out. Okay, Six of Swords. You have the Death card, Eight of Wands, and the King of Cups. All right, there's the counterpart. All right, so King of Cups, Queen of Cups is a counterpart. And, you know, it's interesting. This could be around family matters, as the Ten of Pentacles is a card of family as well. Yeah, there may be a bit of like a situation that you have to resolve in, like, I'm going to say entanglements related to money. So there may be an issue around there may be like a money situation here where other people are involved, okay? And the only reason I say that is because you have this counterpart, okay? So that can be a romantic counterpart, but it could also just be a partner or an ally as well, as the King and the Cups are counterparts. So there may be something like that that's going on here. You may have there may be a dispute to resolve. You do have the Eight of Wands and the Star. I love that for you. I definitely see that some of you are maybe online, like some of you may have a following, as the Eight of Wands is another one of my social media cards, as this can represent messages from a distance, i.e. social media, email, text message, phone call, letter. The internet, you know, can be associated with the Eight of Wands. And it can also represent a breakthrough as well in life. It's a very nice card. And with that, you have the Death card, which is transformation. You know, it's a major transformation in life. It can represent an ending, but you know, the ending of the Death card is more like going from the caterpillar to the butterfly. You know, that is kind of the ending of the Death card, right? It's like, okay, you're no longer a caterpillar, and that part is over, that has ended, but you've transformed into something new, right? That's kind of like the better way to look at it. I guess changes is the better way to look at the Death card. And there may be a change here around a relationship or an important choice that you've made here in your life up to this point. Let's take a look. I'm very curious about these final two columns here. You have the Hanged Man, you have the Nine of Cups, and you have the Fool. Okay, so here's the thing. There is a bit of a this is such an interesting reading in that by the way, the Six of Swords represents transition. I'll try to bring that in. But this is such an interesting reading in that look, we have this card here of like taking action, right? You clearly here have momentum. And I even spoke about momentum. Eight of Wands, a card of momentum, right? And you clearly here have momentum. You have had a nice experience here in the past, maybe even a transformational or a transformative experience here in the past. Okay, very clear. Something went right here. You have this energy here of take action. And at the same time, you have the Hanged Man and the Four of Swords, which is passive. These are passive energies. So these are the opposite energies of taking action. Okay? The thing is, I think I'm understanding this here, which is with the Hanged Man coming after the Death card, the Hanged Man, what they really need is to embrace the Death card. okay? Because Hanged Man's number 12, Death card number 13. This person needs to embrace the transformation below them, okay? But they're hanging on. They're in limbo. They're not ready to embrace the transformation below them. But as soon as they do, it's like a chain reaction, right? They can actually finally continue to move forward, right? That's one way of looking at this. So as I think about this, Sagittarius, this is not your first rodeo. Yes. Some of you are a bit stuck. Some of you are a bit stuck here. And what I would say is this is not your first rodeo. You have already experienced what it feels like to undergo a transformation. Some of you have already experienced what it feels like to bring in all of this success, as I see this first column here. And now you're stuck, okay? And now you're stuck. And you're in this in-between space of, do I rest a little bit more or do I take action? When do I start? You know, like some of you are thinking, when do I start? You know, is it a time to pull back or is it a time to go? And I guess the guidance for you is you've been through this before. This is not your first rodeo, Sagittarius. I do see that there is a new start for you here. Okay, remember, we started the reading off here with the Ace of Pentacles. There's a new start for you here. Nine of Cups, Fool, Ace of Pentacles. I do hope you stuck around to the clarifications portion, because this is the meat and potatoes of the reading here, and I finally figured it out. Yeah, and there's very clearly a new start here for you. And this could be quite successful as you have this Nine of Cups, which it is the other wish fulfillment card. With the Star and the Nine of Cups, you've got a wish that wants to reappear or appear for the first time. And yes, I say reappear because you've had the Star in the past. You're kind of treading through water right now, though, with the Seven of Swords and the Page of Swords. There's something you have to figure out. And yeah, it may mean that there is a little bit of self-sabotage happening. But you can choose to end that at any time. And also don't beat yourself up for it. I think everybody's experienced that at some point. You have the Five of Wands. You have the Lovers. And you have the Six of Wands. Okay, the Six of Wands is, this is another indicator of some success that wants to come forward to you. And again, you have the third social media card here. They're all coming in here. So the Six of Wands has an audience, okay? They do. They literally do. They're being paraded through a crowd. They have an audience of people. What is the best way to build an audience in now? You know, people are doing that on social media, right? This is why I call this a social media card. And I do believe that if you are one of those people that wants to start a YouTube channel, wants to start a TikTok, wants to start an Instagram, whatever it is, take your pick, whatever it is, Facebook, whatever. Like, this is actually a good sign for you, okay? Now, not everybody's going to become a TikToker here, okay? So what does this mean? Well, this means that you here could be creating some nice success in your life, okay? You may have the successful realization of a wish or a dream that wants to come in for you with the Star and the Nine of Cups. Provided you work through the muddy water here, okay, that's going on with the Seven of Swords and the Page of Swords. There is something connected to a relationship for some people, not everyone, but for some people, that is showing up. You then here have the Five of Wands, which indicates conflict. You know what? There's something that I read this, and I actually want to bring this forward. I wish I would have said it earlier in the reading because not everyone sticks around to the end of the reading. But like, if you're feeling exhausted and tired, you may want to consider closing your open loops. Your open loops. What does that mean? Well, if there's a conversation that you have, if there's a conversation that you need to have with someone, close that open loop. If there's a task that you need to do, close that open loop. If there is something connected to your work, that you have to do, if there is a social media app that you're using that drains you, close that open loop. Be aware of the open loops in your life, right? What are the things you need to close? What are the conversations that you need to have? What are the things that you need to say yes to? What are the things you need to say no to? Close your open loops, Sagittarius. Be aware of those because they're always on in the background. Your open loops are always on and playing in the background, right? And I think that if you're exhausted, if you're tired, closing those open loops could actually help. You have the Three of Swords on the bottom. All right, so here is the 3. I'm still going to maintain that this is probably more so connected to the self, okay? This idea of the Seven of Swords. Three of Swords, it represents heartbreak in life. It does represent separation. Let's see what the Kipper cards have to say. Some of you are very clearly here going through a transition, okay? You have a couple cards popping out here. You have Occupation Thief. Thief is basically the Seven of Swords. You have Distant Horizons as well. And what else do we have here? Imprisonment, Wealthy Man, and Unexpected Income. So this imprisonment card is like the Eight of Swords, which you have. Wealthy Man can be connected to your investments. This person's a stock trader. They're at the end of a successful trading day. Distant Horizons says that the future is bright. 1 to 3 months potentially in the future is what it means. But I do see that there is something here around career that is changing. It looks good. It looks good. The guidance though is like some of you need to put your, you need to get your hands a little dirty here, okay? Like with toil and labor and 10 of Wands, get ready to do the hard work in front of you. And if you can commit to this, the outcome for you looks really, really nice. On the bottom, you do have Lovers again. So there is a question of relationship here for some people. Sag, this is what I have. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll most certainly be talking to you again soon.